For years, I've been thinking about how we know the name of singers, rappers. There's nothing out there that we miss. But I've always thought how we miss the people that really matter. People out there that do make a massive difference in the world. People that are actually worth knowing about and worth mentioning. So I thought, why don't I make a series of videos about people worth knowing about, people worth mentioning. So that's what I'm doing. And the person we're going to be talking about today is Paul Alexander. Now, I'm not sure you've heard about him, but he's the man who has lived for a longest period of time in an iron lung. He's now in his 70s, and we're going to go back to the beginning to tell his story. Paul Alexander was born in 1946. Now, in 1952, when he was 6 years old, he was just playing on the garden like any other normal child of his age, and he started to feel quite bad. So in that same moment, he told his mother. And as he mentions on an interview that you can find on the internet, his mother already knew that it was polio.
Mom turned and looked at me and said, "Oh my God, not my little boy." She knew.
She knew because in the 1950s, polio was a very common disease and very dangerous. Either you died, you survived for a period of time, or you just became paralyzed forever. Paul, in fact, talks about how moms used to say when they were playing in the park like any other normal kid, right? Like nowadays, even though not so much with technologies, they will be playing in the park and mothers will tell them, don't eat that food, don't eat that food, you're gonna get polio, you can't get polio. It's insane, it's like a mum will say now, don't walk barefoot, you're going to get a cold. Well, back then, polio was very, very common and people really feared it. People were aware of how bad it was, how deadly it was, how much it took everything away in life itself from a child. So they were aware at the time in the 1950s of how bad this was. So unfortunately, as his mother predicted, Paul had polio. Within a week, he was unable to talk, to walk, and to breathe by himself. He was put in hospital where he tells that he will always see kids on the iron lung and they maybe smiled to each other. That was the sort of maximum communication they had. And he never understood, he says and explains how he never understood why suddenly those kids that he made friends with, they disappeared. But as he mentioned, soon enough, he started to understand the reason why those kids with the same disease as he had were disappearing was because they were dying. I cannot imagine how hard that was, especially as a kid with 6 years old, to see that someone that has the same issue that you have is dying, and all of them are dying, and you wonder, why am I not dying? Why am I unable to make friends? And he claims how he always questioned that himself. He didn't understand why he didn't die. He definitely was made out of something else. He was really strong. And it really calls my attention how he's always so positive. In fact, he's asked many times if he finds a situation that happened to him fair or unfair. And I can't imagine any one of us nowadays saying, oh my gosh, how unfair. Like, I imagine myself in that situation. I for sure will think that I am really unlucky. And that why does it have to happen to me? Well, to anyone really, is something horrible. And I think all of us will think that we're very unlucky. But yet, when he was asked a question, he said that he never thought if what happened to him had been unfair or fair. He just thought he was very lucky to be alive and to have survived polio because he saw how everyone else didn't.
Was there ever a point where you were like, this isn't fair, I'm so angry I've been dealt this hand?
I never thought about it being fair and unfair. I took it like, wow, I think God picked me out to do this.
The fact that you survived.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole interview that I've watched, he's always making jokes, he's always laughing, he's always saying how lucky he feels. And the reason why I want to mention Paul Alexander, apart from obviously the disease that he has and how that has shaped and changed his life, it's because of how he dealt with it, how he was given those cards and how he played them. I personally will imagine myself being miserable, not wanting to be alive, and just digging myself in a well, just wanted to be swept away from the planet Earth. He instead did the opposite. All he wanted to do was to live and to do the same things that you and I do every day. He wanted to be someone, he wanted to develop himself, and he did. And this is why, when I think about Paul Alexander, I think resilience. It's just inspirational. It's just power. It's insane how someone can be so positive and so strong. He started his physical therapy when he was a few months, I believe, in the hospital. And the therapy involved learning or trying to breathe